Hey, how you doing? Um, I'm just on Twitter and I'm looking around the internet, trying to find out about what's going to happen with Jamaal Williams, and I don't know. I see that there's at least two other teams other than Detroit that is vying for him. I know that the Bills have been one of the teams that have been around for a long time. That since this thing started, the period that they've been looking at him. What concerns me is he said he wanted to stay in Detroit. Why hasn't he made a deal with Detroit? If he wants to stay here, why wouldn't he go in and say, hey, let's work something out? And he hasn't done that yet. There's been no deal. So what's the holdup? And they just went out and signed a whole bunch of players, and I don't know what Detroit's cap space is right now. They've been backloading a lot of contracts, so it's hard to say what their cap is. I've also today been heard that the draft, you need 14 million for the draft, and I heard somebody say it's 10 million. So I don't know how much they need for the draft, but my concern is why hasn't he signed already? And if Detroit now has the cap space to be able to sign him, maybe Detroit said, well, you know what, we're going to get somebody in the draft. I don't know. It's surprisingly that to me that he hasn't been signed by anybody yet. That Detroit, I thought Detroit or Buffalo or somebody would have already given him a big enough offer that he would have signed already. So I don't know what the holdup is with him. I don't know if some other team's giving him a deal and he's saying to Detroit, I want to come back, I'll make something happen. I don't know if Detroit is trying to get him. I don't know if they've... The problem with being a Detroit fan is the Detroit media has absolutely no insiders. There's nobody who's coming on and saying, I have a source and they're telling me this, they're telling me this. There's nobody in the Detroit media that ever does that. Most cities, there's somebody who's breaking news and they're doing stuff. Detroit has nothing like that. So we really don't know what's happening right now. But to me, as I said earlier, I don't know why, if he wants to come back, and if they want him, why hasn't he signed yet? This, to me, they must have known that they wanted to bring him back. It's not like yesterday they started saying, oh boy, we want to bring him back. How are we going to do this? They've been thinking about it for a long time. So they've either made a decision yes or no or whatever. So I don't know, still a mystery, but it's kind of concerning that he hasn't signed yet. Alright, have a good night, God bless.